Hello, hello, hello. Greetings to everyone. You know what time it is. It is Coach Steele's finance training. And of course, I'm live with you here, Coach Steele. Welcome to the team. Happy to have you a part of our team here at Coach Steele's finance training, where we talk about all things financial literacy and we take the complicated things and we make them simple. So happy to have each and every person tuning in on today as we go over a beautiful subject that I love to talk about, which is real estate. So you already know what we need to do. As you tune in, make sure you come in the room. Make sure you greet me just like Mr. Tony Sherman did. Good morning to you, Tony Sherman. It is Saturday, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time Zone. And you know what we do? We talk about that moolah. We talk about money. We talk about assets. We talk about principles. We talk about concepts. We talk about financial literacy so that we can maneuver through this space effectively and efficiently for our benefit. All right. So today we are going to be talking about, and watch it pop up on the screen, we are going to be talking about why I love real estate investing. And in particular, we'll deal with long-term rentals. I'll give an example of one of my properties, but we are going to talk about why I love real estate investing, the benefits of real estate investing, and some of those things that may seem complicated that really aren't that complicated, and how to simplify it for you. So maybe if you're interested or you ever thought about diving into real estate, maybe this will take off some of the intimidation or worry or fears that you have when it comes to real estate investing. All right, so let's dive into this a little bit. And I got about 10 different points that I want to hit as you come into the room and you dive into Coach Steele's finance training. We are live on YouTube and we're live on Facebook. If you tune in on Facebook, I still need you to go over to the YouTube channel and subscribe. Hit that subscribe button because we want to run it up. All right, so when we talk about real estate investing and why I love real estate investing, there are so many different benefits, but we'll only deal with about 10 of them. And as you tune in on today, make sure you share the live. That way we can get other people in here to enjoy and participate in this conversation as well. We want as many people talking about this so we can wake up the team and wake up the community about why we should be diving in real estate investing. Now, there's different ways to get into real estate investing, whether you're flipping, whether it's owner financing, whether it's commercial property, whether it's residential property, whether it's long-term rentals, short-term rentals like Airbnb, wholesaling. There's so many different avenues to dive into this thing. So as you tune in on today, good morning to you, Yvette Steele, my lovely wife. Happy to have you tuning in. I want to hear your thoughts, your concerns, and your comments, whether you are on YouTube or on Facebook. I'll be able to see your comments and we'll post them up as we go through the process. So let's get this party started. Number one, let's go with number one, and this is in no particular order, but we'll deal with the flow of why I love real estate investing. So let me put this up here. Number one of the reasons why I like real estate investing, especially long-term real estate investing, is the cash flow. Now, on Coach Steele's finance training, we've talked about like cash flow and what cash flow actually is. And so when you have continued to tune in, and if you haven't, you can watch the video where we talk about cash flow, how to increase cash flow and things like that. Cash flow on real estate, look at this now, unlike stocks that may or may not have paid dividends, rental properties generate monthly income. As well as a well-chosen property can cover expenses and leave you with a steady profit, leave you with steady cash flow. So some stocks do pay dividends. Sometimes they're quarterly, sometimes they're monthly. It all depends. It can go up, it can go down. But with real estate, long-term rentals, you can receive monthly profit. You can receive monthly cash flow from that because If you buy the house in cash, then of course, only thing you really probably need to pay is property tax and insurance, and the rest of it is profit. And so, if you didn't pay it in cash, and let's say there's a loan that needs to be serviced, and you have to pay a monthly payment, then you make that when you receive the rent, you pay the mortgage or that loan that's on it, and then of course you keep the profit. But most financing mortgage loans usually are principal and interest, property taxes, and insurance, which is the escrow. So normally all of that is included in that payment. You walk away with the profits. But if you want to be a wise long-term real estate investor, when you receive those profits immediately, don't just rush and spend it. Let it build up a little bit, just in case you have to call the plumber or the AC guy. All right. So we know number one is cash flow. One of the benefits long-term for long-term rentals is the cash flow that you can get monthly. So the cool part about that is you don't have to wait until retirement to start receiving your cash flow. Now, normally if you invest in like a 401k or an IRA, you have to wait till a certain age before you can start receiving that monthly distributions from that. But with real estate, when you make that investment, the next month or the same month, you can start receiving those distributions, that cash flow from the investment. So I want to give you all an example of a property that I bought and kind of run some numbers with you so you have a better understanding of the benefits of real estate investing and the profits that you can get from it. So as you tune in to Coach Steele's Finance Training, make sure you say good morning or greet me or whatever comment you want to leave in the comment section. We want to hear from you on today. So we do know that you can receive cash flow. And some people have said, well, I don't know what property to buy. Would it be beneficial for me or would it not? And one of the easiest and simplest ways, just something basic, starting off when you're looking at a property that you can look at to determine whether or not you should buy the property or not. Start off just looking at the cash on cash return. Start looking at the cash on cash return to see if it might make sense. And then maybe if you can make about 10 to 12% cash on cash return, then it might make sense to go ahead and invest in that property. You can do some more research, and I'll talk about that as well as we go along. But when we talk about cash on cash return, let's do an example. Let's see if I can do a sample here. Bear with me. Good morning to you, Mickey David. Happy to have you tuning in to Coach Steele's Finance Training. All right. So what's a good example of a cash on cash return? So let's look at a property that I bought. Let's see if we can find it. It's doing something different this morning. Don't know if I'll be able to show it. All right, so I'll come back to that. So one of the properties that I bought, to give an example, is a property that was the cost of it was $66,500. So let's look at that as an example. I'm not sure if I'll be able to pull it up, but let's see if I can try one more time. There we go. All right, now we're cooking. I can pull it up for sure now. All right, so, and let me make sure I enlarge it so you all can see it on your end. We're going to look at an example of a property that I bought back in 2019. Now, as I told you, and let me make sure y'all can see it on y'all's end clear. As I told you, in 2019, I bought this property. And I bought it, you see the home value for $66,500. Now, usually as an investor, you probably are going to have to put about 20% down, which you see 20% down. And if you put 20% down, 20% of that $66,500 makes the loan amount $53,200. So So what does that mean? How much did I have to put down? Well, you just do 66,500 minus 53,200. That's $13,300. So if you look right over here to the right, you'll see down payment amount $13,300 in this example. Back in 2019, maybe the interest rates on an investment property was around 5%. So let's say the interest rate is 5%. What else do we need to know to find out what our monthly payment is on this? Because what we're trying to find out is if I decide to use real estate as a retirement option to get passive income when I quit working, because we know a 401k, eventually it depletes over a period of time, right? So now, let's say it can deplete over a period of time. Let's say the property taxes on this property was $1,500 and the insurance is $1,000. After you plug in all the information, you hit calculate. When we hit calculate, we can find out what it is going to cost monthly to maintain and be able to service this loan. And when we do the math, we find out that it is $493.92. So just to kind of keep the math clean and simple today, let's round it up to $500. Let's say I had to pay $500 a month to service this loan for this 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house that I bought in 2019 for $66,500. Everybody still with me? Give me a thumbs up in the comment section, because we're looking at the cash flow, and I don't want to just skip over it and say, hey, you know what, the benefits of real estate, there's cash flow. But I also want you to understand how I determine and find what my potential cash flow is in this investment. So that's why we're staying on this for a second. So if it costs me about $500 a month to service this loan, the question is then how much is the rent on this property? So guess what? I go look at the comps in the area, the comparables. How much is everyone else paying rent in this area for this 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house? Well, the comps at that time was $800 a month. $800 a month. So now that I know it's $800 a month, if it costs me $500 to pay for the financing every month to service this loan, that means I could potentially walk away with $300 in profit every month, $300 in cash flow every month. Now that's just this example. And of course we see that I put down $13,300. Okay, now see those numbers, we see those examples, we see the scenarios, right? So let me get back here, because I really want to hear your thoughts and your comments. Now we see what we have in that example. If I'm walking away with $300 a month, how much is that profit for the year? If I make $300 a month off of this one property, someone in the comment section, tell me how much is that for the year? $300 a month times 12. What is my annual cash flow, my annual profit for the year on that property? Yes. We're going to do some math today. I want you all to do some math and understand how to find that cash on cash return. I got all of the financing, the expenses, everything that it's going to cost me. And now I know at the end of every month, I got $300. 300 times 12. Who's got the answer? 300 times 12. How much is my profit at the end of the year? And the reason why I like this cash flow when we deal with number one when it comes to real estate investing is because it's like giving myself a raise. Some of you all are at your jobs and you want your job to give you a pay increase, give you a raise, promote you. You could just go buy a property and give yourself that raise, give yourself that promotion, give yourself that increase. You don't have to wait on the company or your job to give you that increase. So the 300 times 12 is $3,600. So as you're tuning in to Coach Steele's Finance Training today, we're talking about the benefits and why I love real estate investing. And we're also dealing with an example of one of my real estate investment properties so that we can compare and look at that as an example. So if I made $300 a month times 12, that's $3,600. Well, what is the cash on cash return? Well, we want to take that annual profit and divide it by the equity of the money that was invested into that property. Now, you all saw on the example that I invested $13,300 into the property to be able to buy it, the down payment on the house. But also there are some other factors and money that I had to pay to get the property. Another example of money invested before I bought the property was you want to get the house inspected. You want to use wisdom in any real estate investment. Have someone go through and inspect the house. Good morning. Good morning. Let's see. We got someone else tuning in. Good morning to Marcus Scott. Happy to have you tuning in to Coach Steele's Finance Training. So when we're talking about me getting someone to inspect the house, so now even though I invested, let's say $13,300 to buy this 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom for $66,500 back in 2019, now we have to put in how much did I have to pay the inspector? I'm sure it was like $500-$600. So even though we got $13,300, let's just add $700 to it and round that up. So total money invested in this example and scenario is $14,000. So when we look at cash on cash return, we know that annually, my annual profit was $3,600 in this scenario, but I had to invest about $14,000. So if I had $14,000 sitting in a savings account, it would probably make about 4% APY, annual percentage yield. It might make 4% for the year. In a high yield interest savings account, in a regular savings account, it would make a few pennies. But if I take this $14,000 and I buy this property, now what is my cash on cash return? How much percentage will I make in this scenario? Well, once again, cash on cash return, take the $3,600, divide it by the $14,000, and we'll figure out what that number is. So $3,600 divided by 14,000, we have 0.257. So of course we move the decimal point over 2 spaces, and we find out on this property, in this scenario, I make 25%, over 25%, 25.7% cash on cash return annually on that investment. And if you understand, the average investor wants to make about 10 to 12% annually. But if you can make 25% on one deal, that is amazing. That is awesome. So that's the cash on cash return in that example, 25%. Some people have their money invested in the stock market and they hope to make over a period of time about 10%. Hopefully over a period of time, 10%. But in this investment, you could potentially make 25% annually. All right. And when it comes to that 401k, you have to keep taking your money and investing into that investment so that you can make the 10%. With this real estate investment, that was a one-time investment, and the money and the profit keeps coming. All right. So that was number one. That's a lot for number one. Let's try and get to number two. Hopefully I won't stay too long on any more of them, but I want to break that down. Good morning to you, Shirley Frazier. Happy to have you tuning in. All right. Number two, appreciation over time. Does anyone know what that it means? Appreciation over time when it comes to real estate investing. All right. So appreciation over time. When it comes to long-term rentals, real estate tends to appreciate in value over long term. And I'm going to stick with this one example of the property I bought in 2019 for $66,500. How many people think that you can buy a house right now in 2025 for $66,500 like I did in 2019. How realistic is it? How practical is it to be able to buy a house now? How much is a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house now on average? What is the average cost for a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house? Write it in the comment section. So real estate tends to appreciate in value over the long term, making it a great hedge against inflation. As you tune in to Coach Steele's Finance Training, I give you definitions for a lot of these words. And a lot of you know I have a nickname for inflation. And the nickname, AKA inflation, is also the silent money killer. It will kill the spending power and the power of your dollar if you don't do something to hedge against inflation. Unlike cash, which loses value over time, properties tend to increase in worth. And it's so interesting because when I talk about the value now of that 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house to buy it, Patrick Underwood is 100% accurate, especially in the area we live in. It's about $200,000. He is correct, 100% correct. Maybe one that is not as up to date and modern and a lot of things haven't been upgraded, you might be able to get it for $180,000, $185,000. But on average, you're looking at about $200,000. So that is a great answer. He hit the nail right on the head with his answer. And thank you for tuning in to Coach Steele's Finance Training today. If you all don't know, we are live on Facebook and we are live on YouTube. So if you are a listener on Facebook, make sure you also go subscribe to the YouTube channel at Coach Steele's Finance Training because we want to run it up. All right, so it does appreciate over time. So now when we look at this property I bought for $66,500 in 2019, the value of that 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house now is at least $185,000 to $200,000. About 4 or 5 months ago, I saw another house on that same street being sold for $199,000, and it was actually smaller than my 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house that I bought in 2019. So if that one was selling for $199,000, I may be above $200,000. So when we say appreciate in value, if I bought the property for $66,500, but I could potentially sell it for $200,000, let's do some math. What is the profit? What is the difference there? All right, so we got $200,000 minus $66,500, $133,500. So that's the difference, $133,500. We're talking about why I love real estate investing on today. And so in a matter of 5 to 6 years, we're talking about there's $133,000 worth of profit, also equity in the house that I have access to. And so that's a cool thing about real estate investing because that's a matter of 5 to 6 years, right? Think about this. How many years does it take you to be able to build up about $100,000 in value in your 401k, in your IRA, in your 457, in your 403bs, and your TSP? How many years does it take you to be able to build up about $100,000 in your retirement? But in a real estate investment, it's possible in about 5 to 6 years to potentially have about $100,000 worth of equity. Now, this is what's going to blow $133,000 worth of equity. But here's what's going to blow your mind right here. If this has a loan on it, like we talked about when we gave the example, if I put about $13,300 down, and so the loan is about $53,000, because if you buy it for $66,500, you put a down payment down, now your balance is about $53,000. This past 5-6 years, the tenant is paying me to help me pay down the mortgage balance. So what I did was I took $200,000 minus $66,500 to get the balance of the answer of $133,000, right? But that loan, if it's being paid down for 5 to 6 years, from 2019 to 2025, then the balance is no longer 66,000. Plus the balance already started around 53. So now the balance is below 53,000. So the true equity is based on what the balance of the loan is at that time, being subtracted from the 200,000. And that's a whole nother ballpark when you talk about having access to that equity. So just know that number 2 we talked about is it appreciates over time. And so when we get into the next subject, it kind of flows right into what I'm getting ready to talk about. So I'll put number 3 up now. As you tune in to Coach Steele's Finance Training, make sure you are sharing the live. That way other people can dive into this and enjoy it, learn from it. Don't be intimidated by real estate investing, and also see the benefits and the fruit of it and why I love real estate investing and why I feel more people should do it. It's not as complicated as we think it is. So when we look at number 3, you can use other people's money. What's the phrase? What is the acronym that people use when we talk about other people's money? Bank loans, mortgages to buy properties, and it allows you to control a high value asset with a relatively small amount of your own capital. Once again, leverage, you can use other people's money, and we call that OPM. So anytime you're in a space and you're around real estate investors or business people, and they say, yeah, I'm using OPM, they're saying they're using other people's money, whether it's bank loans, mortgages, private loans, silent investor, angel investors, to buy properties, making investments, allowing you to control a high value asset. You have the control with a relatively small amount of your own capital. And so that was a great example of the one I used of the property in 2019. If it was valued and being sold at $66,500, and all I have to do is make a down payment of $13,300, I now control this asset and I can leverage it. That's number 3, being able to leverage the asset in a way that benefits me. And I'm not here knocking 401k plans. Matter of fact, invest in them, prepare yourself for your future. Some of your companies are actually matching your contribution, so you want to be able to get that free money that they're giving you. And I'm telling you, real estate is another easy way to help build up and grow that 401k, that TSP. My military people that are listening in, I want you prepared for retirement as well. If you have military loved ones and family, they definitely should be buying real estate. If you are constantly traveling across the world and the country for the military, for you're working for the government, you definitely should own a piece of the American pie. You definitely should have your hand in real estate. If you're a soldier, if you're in the military, I don't care if it's the Army, Navy, Marines, Air Force, get yourself some real estate when you're going to these different places. You're in military towns where people are going to come and need a place to rent out because they don't plan on staying there long. And guess what? You can provide a good service and a good house for someone. So as we continue to talk about this leverage, think about this. When you have that money in that 401k, if you have a long-term rental, that $300 a month that you're making, guess what? You can take that rental money that you're making and fund your retirement account. So now when you make your 9-to-5 money, you have more 9-to-5 money to spend because you're using the asset to pay for the other asset for both the assets to grow over a period of time. Now the 401k is growing with the money from the real estate that you got from the tenant. So now you have 2 retirement accounts growing and increasing in value and hedging against inflation. Happy to have you tuning in to Coach Steele's Finance Training. Who do we got here? It looks like might be somebody new. Let me see. Who do we have tuning in? Let's see if I can scroll down and get to it. Good morning. We got the Cal Sterling. So happy to have you tuning in on today. I don't know if that's, yeah. So happy to have you tuning in on today to Coach Steele's Finance Training as we're talking about how to use real estate, why I love real estate investing, and also most importantly, why you should subscribe to my YouTube channel. So make sure you go to Coach Steele's Finance Training and subscribe as we talk about financial literacy. Welcome to the team. As you join our team, we are a community where we want to talk about financial literacy, make the complicated things simple so that we can all grow, because that's where the true power is. When we come together as a community and we improve our financial literacy level information and we be able to build ourselves up financially, then you have true power, then you have true say-so. Then you can open up some eyes and ears to listen to what you have to say, because now you have leverage. So when we talk about leveraging that equity that I have in this property, I can leverage $133,000 worth of equity. Now, most times a bank will give you about 70 to 75% loan to value if you were to leverage that equity. And let's rewind. Y'all stay with me. Remember I said, if the rent on that property is $800 a month and all I had to pay was $500 a month to service that loan, the profit was $300. In 2019, rent on a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house was $800 a month. And we know that when we looked at the cash on cash return, it was a little over 25%. You can't get 25% return annually in a savings account or in a high yield interest savings account. On average, the S&P 500 is doing 10%. But on this property, if I'm getting 25% return, cash on cash return, that was in 2019. What do we think the rent for a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house is now in 2025? If it was $800 in 2019, what is the average rent for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath in 2025? If I was making $300 a month profit in 2019, what is the rent now? Because now we have to take what the average rent is for 2025 and subtract the $500 from it to find out what the monthly profit is. And then we're going to divide it by 12 to find out what the annual profit is. Mr. Patrick is on top of it. He knows his information today. Let me see if I can scroll down here, get to it. So, on average, 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, you might be paying $1,800 to $2,000 a month in rent. Now, one thing I will say, I do have a big heart. I try to keep my rent below the market value to be able to take care of tenants, because times are hard out here and I don't want to stress people out. But at the same time, I do have to run a business, right? And I still have to make a profit. I still have to hedge against inflation. We still have to do maintenance and keep up the house because no one should want to be a slumlord on purpose. So for this property, the 3-bedroom, 2-bath, I have the rent at $1,500 a month. So think about this. The rent is $1,500 a month. All right, Mr. Scott, he's pretty close, around $1,400. So we take that average from $1,400 to $1,800. Mine is at $1,500. So on this one example, the rent is $1,500. If I take $500 a month to service this loan, we take $1,500 minus the $500 that I have to pay the mortgage company. That leaves me with $1,000 a month. I just got an increase. If in 2019 I was making $300 profit, and now in 2025 I'm making $1,000 a month profit. When your job won't give you a raise, when your job won't see your value, when the 9 to 5 that you work for won't pay you, you can do it yourself through real estate investing. Because over a period of time, rent is going to keep going up. It's another surprise. You just paid yourself a raise. Simon, surprise, you just paid yourself a raise. Patrick, surprise, you just gave yourself another raise. Sterling, surprise, you just gave yourself another raise. Mr. Tony Sherman, you continue to pay yourself more. And the more valuable that property becomes, because you can receive so much rent from it, usually you're going to be able to sell it at a higher price just because of what the return is on it. An investor is going to be willing to pay if they can get their 10 to 12% return on investment. So if I was getting 25% return on investment in 2019, and now I'm getting $1,000 a month, now you'd have to do 1,000 times 12, which is $12,000, divided by the original equity invested in it, which was the $14,000. Now that investment gets a little crazy. Now it gets beautiful. Let's go a little bit deeper. Let's keep going here. Let's keep going because we're talking about the leverage that we have. Here's an amazing part about leveraging equity in a house. Oh my, I couldn't believe this when I first learned this. As you're tuning in on today, make sure that you are subscribed to the YouTube channel, Coach Steele's Finance Training. Make sure you share this if you're on Facebook, you can share this live so other people can listen to it as well. Good morning to you, Trinata. Happy to have you tuning in to Coach Steele's Finance Training. Good morning to everyone as you tune in today. We are talking about financial literacy, how to dive into the real estate world, why I love real estate, and most importantly, this is a conversation. I want to hear your thoughts, your comments, your opinions. Some of you, why are you afraid to get into real estate? And some of you that are already into real estate investing, how is it going for you? Do you love real estate investing? If you love real estate investing, put a heart in the comment section. Put a heart in the comment section. If some of you are nervous about real estate investing, tell me why. What holds you back from wanting to do it? What are some of your things that have you nervous or trepid about doing it, intimidated by doing it? So when we talk about the leverage, listen to what I'm saying. When you're leveraging real estate, there are times where you can leverage real estate. You can get access to the equity in that house. Remember, I told y'all that one example, at least $133,000 worth of equity in that house. When that is the situation, you can do when you're doing an investment property, you can do what they call a cash out refi on that investment property. So let's say the house is worth $200,000, and let's say there's still $40,000 worth of there's a balance on it. It's worth $200,000. Let's subtract $40,000. We should know that that's $160,000. Now you got $160,000, right? That you have access to, equity that you have access to. And I'm going to show you what a lot of wealthy people do and why they get so rich and why they don't have to pay so much in taxes. So tune in, lock in. This is why so many wealthy people get rich so fast. They increase their net worth, they increase their generational wealth, and they don't have to pay as much in taxes, but they keep getting richer. They keep making more money. And so as we're tuning in today, I'm going to deal with Trinata's statement, and I appreciate her tuning in. So in this scenario with this property, if I have access to $160,000 worth of equity, a bank might give you about 75% loan to value. What's 75% of $160,000? Well, 160,000 times 0.75 is 120,000. And that's why, it's important that our kids get a good education, not to throw off, what we're talking about, financial literacy, but it's important that our kids have good math teachers and learn good math skills. Because when it comes to real estate investing, some of our kids and young people, young adults, they're not going to be doctors and lawyers. They might be real estate investors and end up owning thousands and hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars worth of real estate. So them knowing their math and how to use a basic calculator to find out percentages and things like that are very, very important. So if I can have access to $120,000, because $120,000 is 75% of that 160, if I can get $120,000, you can do a cash out refi and get $120,000. Two things, because I already know what people are probably thinking. When you get that $120,000 and put it in your pocket because you had that much equity in that property that increased in value over a period of 5 to 6 years, some of you are in the same city for the past 5 or 6 years, and if you had had a property, you would have had a property that increased in value well over $100,000. You could always sell it, walk away with the profits, and then reinvest it into another property. But if you just do a cash out refi and you take that $120,000 and put it in your pocket, put it in your purse, wherever, It's not a taxable event. Let me say it again. It's a non-taxable event. The IRS will not tax you on that $120,000 because it's seen as a loan. So you can go have a spending spree, or you can be wise, take that $120,000. If you found that one property that I used as an example in the beginning, and later on when I'm done with this, if you missed any of it, you can always go back and catch what I'm talking about if you tuned in a little late. You can always, if we got that first property and all we had to put down was about $14,000, but now you have access to $120,000. How many down payments can you make with $120,000? That's just single family unit properties. You could take that. There you go, Mr. Scott. He said reinvest. You take that $120,000, whether you buy a small apartment complex or you buy a couple of duplexes, fourplexes, whatever it is, 12 units, and you can reinvest that money. And now you just created more passive income. Now, when you do that, that one property, the loan amount has increased on it, but you can service that loan because remember, the rent went from $800 a month in 2019 to now it's $1,500 a month in 2025. So you have a well-balanced, well-oiled machine where you are in control and you have measures in place. Now, that's why it's good to do real estate investing while you have a 9-to-5 job. Once again, if you missed it earlier, don't rush and immediately start spending your profits when you have real estate. You will have to call a plumber or the AC guy or get lawn care or maybe pay for electric bill or something like that, or water bill in transition. That's why it's good to have good property management. So don't stress yourself over that. Make sure you have a high quality property management team to help you take care of a lot of that. All right, so let's stay on track. I wanted you all to understand when you leverage that equity in there, let's say you do a cash out refi, that is not a taxable event. So now when I say wealthy people are leveraging their assets and being able to acquire other assets, so now they got more money coming in and there was not, they didn't have to pay taxes on that money they pulled out of one asset. That's why a politician, one of the most recent politicians that was running for president, he said, I want to tax people on capital gains that they had not made money off of yet. So, because she understood the power of leveraging in these assets that wealthy people have. And so as we continue to talk about this, think about how Elon Musk acquired X. I think it's also called Twitter. So when you think about it, he leveraged his Tesla, his stocks in Tesla, his equity in Tesla to be able to acquire X. So when he did that, there's no taxes to be paid because he leveraged the asset. He got more wealthier with X. And so what we have to understand is we can't keep complaining about who doesn't pay taxes. We have to learn the rules so that we can do the same thing and grow our wealth as well. Because if we complain and they continue to grow, and we complain and they continue to grow, what happens? They continue to grow and you don't. So we have to learn the rules, leverage this equity, because we're going to dive into this real estate space. Trinata, I had a lack of understanding and a lack of experience in the real estate space as well. But I started putting myself around other people who are teaching and talking about real estate investing, lack of experience and knowledge, educating yourself, tuning in to Coach Steele's Finance Training. I talk about basic budgeting, financial literacy, and information. Every once in a while, I talk about real estate investing, but do your research, do your homework, be a part of communities of people that are talking about real estate investing, and some of your trepidation and things that you're worried about will slowly fade, and then you get your feet wet. And when you get your feet wet, oh my goodness. When you start experiencing this and you realize you're in it for the long haul, you'll never be the same. You'll never disconnect from it. Sometimes people dive into real estate with lack of experience and knowledge, and they don't have patience, and they just rush into bad deals. And you shouldn't do that. Take your time. Learn how to evaluate deals. Learn the pros and cons of it, because you can always say no to a deal. You don't have to rush into a deal. It may take you 4 months to find a good deal. That's fine. Take 4 months. This one example that I'm using now, The rent was $800 a month to $1,500 a month. 6 years later, this good deal just became great. It was worth the wait in me finding this good deal. So never rush yourself in a good deal, in a bad deal. I'm sorry. Rush yourself into good deals. Don't rush yourself into bad deals. Sterling says, I love passive income. Okay, Sterling, do you have passive income? Are you in real estate investing? Or are you like selling t-shirts? Is there another business that you're in, or just the topic or the subject of passive income? Because there's nothing wrong with it. Before I started getting passive income, I loved it too. I loved the thought of it and wanted a piece of the pie. And real estate isn't the only way you can get passive income. You can invest in dividend stocks and get passive income as well. There's more ways than one. Let's see here. Let me get back to, yes, Trinata, make sure you get in the right environments. And when you go on YouTube, Trinata, and you start looking up people who invest in real estate, everyone has different theories and systems and principles. Make sure you look for people that are consistent, and you'll kind of find your niche. There's different ways to dive into real estate. I just like long-term rentals, long-term investments. I could do flips and things like that, but I just don't want to. I want to buy and hold and receive the passive. All right. So good morning to you, Vicky Coffee Floyd. Happy to have you tuning in on today. And Trinata, as you continue to tune in to Coach Steele's Finance Training, some of this is going to rub off on you. Okay, in the construction. All right, let's see. Let me go to tax benefits. Number 4, another good thing. I'm going to try to fast forward a little bit, guys. I won't go too fast, but I'll try to fast forward a little bit. Let's see. Now, the next benefit is, and why I love real estate, is the tax benefits of that. Now, Patrick said, any advice on cashing out a 401k early? I would say this. Always do your homework and your research. No matter what I say on here, make sure that the advice and the guidance works best for you and your situation. So always conduct due diligence and research on your own. Most people that I know in the real estate space, they will not cash out the 401k, but a lot of times people will just borrow against it and take out a loan. So they still have their 401k in place, and they'll go make an investment with that. And then the investment will make a profit, and then they can continue to pay their 401k back and still have the investment property growing as well. And so now you have two assets growing and one's paying the other one. Some people take their 401ks at a certain age and they may move it into a different financial tool where they can acquire property in that retirement account, like a self-directed Roth IRA. So some people call it a SEDARA. So everyone will take different routes on how to use their 401k, but you definitely want to talk with a professional about that to make sure if you do something with your 401k, you transition it to the right financial tool that'll benefit you. So you don't just cash it out and then now you don't, have it in place when you could probably have the best of both worlds. Loan against the 401k, invest it into something proper and effective so that you can pay back your 401k, it continues to grow, and this investment grows as well. So tag team it. You can have a tenant pay for your 401k and the real estate. All right, hope that answers the question. When we look at the tax benefits, okay, Sterling said that's how the construction company was able to work. So when we look at the tax benefits, when it comes to real estate, Lord have mercy. Investors enjoy deductions on mortgage interest, property taxes, depreciation, and even expenses related to the property management. These can significantly lower your taxable income. Also, there's just other things. The individual on here that's in construction, I mean, there's so many write-offs on equipment. If you need a new lawnmower for the house, but you got rental properties, investment properties, you can buy that lawnmower through the company because you're going to use it on the yards and maintaining the stuff with the rental properties. If there's certain tools you need, as you understand, you may use those tools at the house, but you may need to use them for the property. When you're going to go mail things off, when you're going to go ride around and check on the properties, when you're ride around looking at real estate, that's mileage on the car that you could potentially write off. Always check with your CPA or your tax professional on things like that. If you're going out of town and you're conducting business and looking at real estate while you're out of town, or I don't know, you may do vacation and go out of town. Whatever it is, you have a lot of potential write-offs in there. So there's a lot of tax benefits when it comes to real estate. And keep in mind, pay attention to this. If your business takes a loss, and you have to get with your CPA, that way you find out what the rules are. Because let's say you make under $150,000, here's a hypothetical. Let's say you make under $150,000 a year. And for your 9-to-5 job, let's say you make $90,000. But your real estate investment, you made a profit, but you're able to write it off, and it looks like you took a $10,000 loss. If the IRS was going to charge you $90,000 on your 9-to-5, but your business took a $10,000 loss, you can write the loss off against the 9-to-5 income. So now instead of being taxed at $90,000, they can only tax $80,000 potentially. So there are benefits to having that business in place, because not only do you get write-offs for the business, but you could potentially get write-offs on your 9-to-5 income. But check with your CPA. All right, so we talked about tax benefits. Let's go to inflation protection. Anybody, as you tune in to Coach Steele's Finance Training today, how does real estate protect you against inflation? How does real estate protect you against inflation? If I have a long-term rental, how does real estate protect me against the dangers of inflation? Because when you deal with inflation, the cost of living, inflation makes the cost of everything go up. So the money that you're making, if it doesn't grow, but inflation is growing, then my spending power decreases. Inflation will knock your spending power out if you don't hedge against inflation properly with the right assets and with the right financial moves. So with long-term investments, long-term rentals, how does that help me against inflation? And I gave an example earlier of how my rent used to be $800 a month on that 1 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house, to now it's $1,500 a month. As you're tuning in to Coach Steele's Finance Training today, if you dove in a little late, we're talking about why I love real estate investing. And we have other people that are in here who are talking about passive income, real estate, whether you're timid, whether you're confident. We're going to make and simplify a lot of this stuff. So if you just tuned in, I gave a great example of one investment property and used the chart, did some math. So if you're just tuning in now, you can always go back and grab that information. But as you're tuning in, we're talking about the benefits of real estate, and we're on number 5, which is inflation protection. Well, rent is going to continue to go up. And as rent is going up, thank you for tuning in on today, Janet Miles. It helps me hedge against inflation. Oh, Janet just put it in there. You are able to go up on your rental property. I need a cheering sound or a clapping sound for Janet coming right in there with that answer. And so as you're tuning in, understand that rent continues to go up over a period of time. And when that rent goes up, it hedges against inflation. And so you're winning the battle because you're still able to maintain the property. And that's another thing. The property goes up in value. I just gave y'all that example. The property was $66,500 in 2019, and now it's worth about $200,000. That was a hedge against inflation. I put only, in that scenario, you're only putting about $14,000 into the property, but it still keeps paying me. I can't stop it. That's the beauty of investing in assets and moving your money properly, is you will still keep getting paid off that original investment amount. So like one of the examples when Patrick Underwood was talking about, should I pull out, about the potential of pulling out a 401k, in this example, this property only needed $14,000 down payment. So in this scenario that he's talking about, I may only need to pull $15,000-$20,000 out of the 401k. If it's now, this property is now making me in 2025 at least $1,000 a month profit, I've already paid back the $14,000 I borrowed from the 401k. The 401k is still growing, and this property still has over $133,000 in equity that I have access to, that I can leverage, and it's not a taxable event. We're talking about growing wealth at an accelerated rate, at a rate at which you cannot always do through a regular 401k, the traditional put you in a box ways to make money and grow wealth. We're talking about thinking outside the box and finding out what else is out there and available at our fingertips that we have access to what we call come up, to do better. So we're talking about that last one was inflation protection, whether it's in the rent, whether it's in the value of the house. All right, let's go a little bit further. Let's go on to the next one. Let's see. Number 6, and there's some benefits to this. When you're in real estate, another reason why I love real estate investing and why I think other people should dive into it, you don't have to be intimidated about other people coming into your market space. There's more than enough deals for everyone to get. I just made a real estate investment deal, and right after I made it, someone was offering like 5 more properties to me. But I wasn't, just looking to dive into it, so I didn't. So that's opportunity for someone else. You don't have to rush into deals. You can negotiate, take your time. Real estate is a tangible asset. There's, stocks, there's cryptocurrency, which I love both of them, but they're not always necessarily physically tangible. Real estate, that brick and mortar, it's tangible, it's physical, and there's some benefits to having a tangible asset. Unlike stocks or crypto, which can be highly volatile and intangible, real estate is a physical asset you can see, touch, and check this out, you can improve to increase its value. Yeah, because it's tangible, unlike some of that other stuff, and we got somebody in construction, you can build some things up and improve it, add on to it, do more, create more space, create more rooms to rent out, whatever the case may be, you can add to it to make it even more valuable. So that's another good reason why real estate is good, because it's a tangible asset. And don't get me wrong, I love my crypto too, because I made some money off of crypto. I'm not a crypto expert, but definitely there's some benefits to the intangible assets as well. All right, so let's go a little bit further. I won't stay long on the tangible assets. Let's go to number 7. Number 7 reason why I love real estate, and I believe other people should get into real estate, is, let's put that bad boy up there. Boom. Multiple exit strategies. I've already named a few of them. If the property has increased in value, and the crazy part is, when I use this one example of, the property increasing in value, and now it's at $200,000, there's $133 worth of equity in there. After 5.5, 6 years, if I sell this off, there's no way my retirement account, 401k, could have grown that fast. This real estate investment is outpacing this retirement account, and it's not even close. So, as we continue to move forward, it's multiple exit strategies. I was reading a comment, that's why I paused. Janet Miles said, I see Calvin, who has a construction company. We are looking for someone to do some work. Look at that. Hey, welcome to the team. You never know what may happen. Networking, all that good stuff. I know some other people that tune in to Coach Steele Finance Trading. They're actually looking for someone to do some work on investment properties and land that they have as well. So you never know what we might be able to work out here at Coach Steele's Finance Training. Good morning to you, Vicky Billingsley. That's what I'm talking about. And look at that. I think somebody just blessed me. Calvin said, thanks for the information. You can send me. It's a link. Nice. And it looks like Calvin sent some stars. So I definitely appreciate that as well. So you all can bless Coach Steele's Finance Training. Whatever you give or donate, it will go to Cameroon to feed people who don't have food, who don't have clothes. And there's a ministry that I sow seeds into as well. We built one church over there, and we're working on building the second church. So whatever you all give or donate, it will go to a worthy cause to help somebody in Cameroon, which is in Africa. All right. So multiple exit strategies. You can just sell the house. Let me remember the young lady's name. The lady's name, Trinata. Check this out. Trinata, one of the things I always do whenever I buy a real estate property, one of the safe things so I'm not as intimidated or worried, I always look at the comps in the area of the value of the houses. And I look at the value of the house I want to buy, and I always negotiate to where I always buy the house less than the value of what it's worth and the value of the other houses. So just remember that. That's a key thing that I want to tell you is always try and buy. I don't know what I did. Anyway. Y'all, I hit a button. I don't know what I did. I'm so sorry. But anyway, what I want you all to know is I always buy the properties, Trinata, below what it's actually worth. So I come into the property with equity. So guess what? If something goes bad and I don't like it, Trinata, or all of a sudden I feel like this might not be a good deal, I can sell the house and I'm walking away with the profit because I bought it for less than it's worth. So one of the simple things to remember when it comes to real estate is buy low and sell high. Buy low, sell high. When it comes to stocks, buy low, sell high. Or buy low and keep it and make profit monthly so that you can sell high later on because the tenant is going to pay down the balance on the financing and increase the equity. So that's one of the things I always do. So there's multiple exit strategies in real estate, Trinata, but you can do certain things so that your exit is much easier. And that's by buying low and selling high. And be patient. You can take your time till you find the right deal. All right. Let's see. Let me go to the next one. That was number 7. Let's go to number 8. Oh, multiple exit strategies. One last thing I'll say about that is you can make money through long-term rentals, short-term rentals. I can take the long-term rental that I have and then turn it into an Airbnb and make short-term rental money. I can flip houses or even do commercial leasing or make it a versatile investment. So there's a number of things you can do as far as how to make money and how to exit from one part of real estate to the next. All right, let's see. Let me go to the next thing. Number 8. Number 8. Let's see what we have here. Passive income potential. And I've talked about this, so I won't stay on this one too long, guys, because you already know, like we talked about, the property that I bought in 2019, it was making $800 a month. And now it's the rent was $800 a month, not making, the rent was $800 a month, and now the rent is $1,500 a month. Hedged against inflation, and my profit margins increased over a period of time because rent went up. And so we already know initially I was making about $300 a month on this property. And now that the rent is $1,500, now I'm making $1,000 a month. You just gave yourself an increase. You just gave yourself a raise. Think about it, guys. How many times is your job that you work for going to give you a raise or an increase in pay? If you are now making an extra $1,000 a month, that's an extra $12,000 that year. So you can keep giving yourself a promotion through passive income, through real estate. All right. So let's see. Trinata says, yes, that is definitely what I thought of using that method. Appreciate it. Yeah, it is definitely worth it. That's why, some people say, well, Simon, are you worried about the real estate you have? Or what about this? Or what about that? And I sit back and I listen to them because I understand that they're working with limited knowledge, limited information, Trinata. I'm like, do you know how much money I would make if I made an accident and sold a property? If I panicked and sold a property, that's thousands of dollars of profit. So I'm in such a safe, comfortable space as this stuff is growing. And that's what I want everyone else to do, because in life, we have emergencies. We have things that happen. There are so many people living paycheck to paycheck. And what would an extra $300 a month do? An extra $500 a month do for your pockets? That would cover people in case of those life emergencies and those instances, or a flat tire or something happens. And now you got to pay $1,200 to get 4 new tires or whatever the case may be. And you can write that off against your company because you use that vehicle to help run your company. So you're going to have natural life events that happen that you are going to have to fix with financial means anyway. But now you're not just going through the motions of doing it, but you are also creating tax write-offs for yourself so you can at least enjoy the financial burden that comes along with these natural life events anyway. All right, so let's see. I don't want to get lost. I'm about to get into a whole nother subject about why I don't want my people to struggle financially. But passive income potential, it does grow. I want to make sure I don't miss anything. So in that example that I gave with that property from $800 a month in rent to $1,500, guess what? I make more money with less work. You want to get assets so you can continue to make more money with less work, and you don't have to invest as much. I never have to put the down payment on that property again. It's a done deal. Done data. It's a wrap. But I make more money off of it with less work. I may have to just answer a few emails from the property management team. That's about it. Now, let's see. So your retirement grows, your cash on cash return increases. I don't want to get into the math of that. We used a lot of time already. What we got going on in the comment section? We got some information being exchanged. I like that. People growing together. We got the information for Calvin Sterling, who's in construction. And let's see what we got here. Let me get to the next section. Roll down. Y'all bear with me, be patient. As you're tuning in to Coach Steele's Finance Training, make sure you share this live so that other people can be a part of the community. What some people may call the money community, I call it our team here at Coach Steele's Finance Training. We want everyone to be a part of the team. We want everyone to go to the YouTube channel. Even if you tune in on Facebook, go to the YouTube channel and subscribe. So any of the videos that I post or I put up throughout the week, so that you don't miss them. If you're a part of the YouTube subscription, you'll catch all of that content and financial literacy information. All right, let's go to the next thing. Woo, we're almost done. Number 9. Y'all hold strong. Stay tight. We're almost there. We're almost at the finish line. Number 9. Right on time. Let's lock that in. Number 9, why I love real estate so much and why I love real estate investing, long-term rentals. Control over the investment. Anybody have money in the stock market right now? Write in the comment section, yes, if you have money in the stock market, and usually if you have a 401k, an IRA, a 403b, 457, TSP, whatever they want to call them, if you have those retirement accounts, you got money in the stock market. Some of you may have investments personally that you put on Robinhood app or whether you bought it in Cash App, whether you got crypto, if you have money in the stock market, write in the comment section, yes, or money in the stock market, however you want to identify. You can use an emoji. Right in the comment section, you have money in the stock market. And so when you have money in the stock market, and there's nothing wrong with this, we're talking about real estate versus, some of those other assets, or digital assets. You have control over your investment when it comes to real estate. Unlike stocks, where you're at the mercy of the market, forces and company decisions, the market going up and down. And I know the best option is the dollar cost average. And company decisions, you have direct control over your property, your renovations, the rent increase, the financing strategies, all impact your returns. And so you have control over this investment. If you have money in Tesla and you put some money in Tesla like a year ago or whatever the case may be, and all of a sudden Elon Musk does something crazy and then boom, the stock drops. All of a sudden when that stock drops, now your investment is looking a little shaky. Maybe it might, come back. It might bounce back, but you don't have any control over what Elon Musk may do. Maybe I should quit mentioning his name. He is in a powerful position. But anyway, but you don't have control of what said stock will do because that person can do anything. So you have less control. But over your real estate portfolio, you have control. Over your real estate portfolio, you have say-so because you have complete ownership over that thing. I think Janet Miles was talking about the stock market, saying it's been a hit. So as we continue to go over Coach Steele's finance training and we talk about having that complete control, that's one of the benefits you can add to. You can do some other things when you have control. Here's another benefit of control. This is another thing that I love about being a real estate owner and doing real estate investing. And I don't take this lightly. I have the opportunity to create jobs. I have the opportunity to hire people in different capacities, whether it's property management, whether construction, guys that are contractors, whether it's people who do good AC work or good plumbing work. And when you get into real estate investing, listen to me. If you ever find a good contractor, if you ever find a good contractor, a good plumber, a good AC guy, somebody who's honest, who's on the up and up, don't ever lose their number. Appreciate them. If they tell you it costs $86 to fix the plumbing, throw a tip in there. Listen, I'm just giving you some advice. Throw a little tip in there. Add something to it sometimes. Every once in a while, surprise that person that's amazing at what they do. I've had so many good people that I've worked with over the years, and when they do a good job, I make sure they're compensated. And so whenever my tenants have a problem, they stop what they're doing and they come see about my property because they know I'm going to take care of them. So if you take care of them, they'll take care of you. So that's another tip for you there. But it's an opportunity to create jobs. I get to network, work with people. I get to help other people take care of their homes. So, having that opportunity to be a steward over real estate investing over these properties give you an opportunity to be a blessing to another household as well. And then when you pay these people to do their job, of course, it is a write-off. All right. Trinata says, I have money in Moo but never start investing it yet. Okay, Trinata, if you just have money sitting and you haven't invested it yet, then let it sit somewhere else while you make your decision. And my advice to you is let it sit in a high yield interest savings account where you can make about 3.8 to 4% interest annually. That way it's making something. And of course, I have other videos where I talk about using a high yield interest savings account. If you need a link to start a high yield interest savings account, I don't know if it makes money in Moo, if there's a certain interest that it makes. But if it's not making any interest there, or it's not making at least 3.8 to 4%, shoot me an email to Coach Steele's. It's right down there at the bottom of the ticker moving. Coach Steele Finance at Gmail. And if you shoot me an email, I'll send you a link to a high yield interest savings account, and you can let the money sit in there, and at least it'll make close to 4% annually, and save you some money. All right, so let's see what else we have here. Let's see, Trinata Young Agu. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. I wonder what the background is on the last name. I'm so curious. I want to know so bad. All right. So what else do we have here? Janet says, that's the truth. I have a home in South Carolina. It's important to keep good relationship with an honest contractor and other professionals. You know it. When it comes to those investment properties, Janet, you get a good contractor, you get a good person that does what they're supposed to do, and they get the work done, and you don't have to micromanage and supervise them and monitor them. I've had some great contractors and people that have worked for me to where even the tenants, there were times in the past where I would want to be there to make sure they do what they're supposed to do, but they had earned the tenant's respect where the tenant was fine with them coming in there, do what they need to do and leave. It was awesome. That's what I thought it was. Trinata, I thought it was Nigerian. That's what I wanted to know, see if I was right. So that is awesome. Happy to have you tuning in. So when I say the proceeds go to Cameroon, you know, Nigeria and Cameroon are right there by each other in West Africa. Nigeria sits a little bit right up above it on that curve, and Cameroon's right under there. But that's where a lot of the donations and proceeds go. If anybody gives anything to me, is right next door to Nigeria, which is Cameroon. So let me go a little bit further. Don't want to lose track. We talked about control and power. And here's the last thing, and we'll come to the finish line. And I love this. Here's the last thing. Another reason, and the last reason why I love real estate investing and why I think everyone should do it. And this is a very important reason. Very, very important reason. Generational wealth building. Generational wealth building, guys. There's a scripture in the Bible, and I'm not going to preach to y'all unless you want me to. But there's a scripture in the Bible, Proverbs 13:22. And the first part, the A clause of says, a good man leaves an inheritance for his children's children. With real estate investing, you get to leave generational wealth. I'm sitting here talking about a property that has increased in value, now to $200,000, and there's $133,000 worth of equity. But can you imagine this property stays in my family for the next, 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 years, however long? Do you know how much equity and how much generational wealth that is for the next person? The property at this point would be completely paid off. Everything is profit. You can put that thing in a trust. And if, let's say, you don't have family, you can use that to create opportunities for other young people, whether you set it up to where the profits from that property go to scholarship opportunities for a certain niche or for a certain group of people that are part of your community, your team, so that you can help uplift even after you are long gone. You're having an impact on those things that you were passionate about. Generational wealth, whether it's personally for your family or whether it's abroad or whether it's locally, you have an opportunity. You have an opportunity to do great things. And that's another reason why I love real estate investing and why I do it, because you can have generational wealth. And I think Shirley's let me know they go to our church. And she says they're at our church. So, okay, Trinata, next time I see you, say, hey, it's me. That way you can let me know. And so I'm sure we've run into each other before, multiple times. So I really love, even with, when it comes to your ministry or whatever you're part of or your organizations, you can give money to them through your asset. There may be potentially write-offs for that as well. So there's a number of benefits when it comes to real estate investing, why I love real estate investing. I appreciate each and every person as you tune in on today. I love the fact that you all had thoughts and you had comments and concerns and you participated in this. Every person that shared this live with other people, I appreciate you. You didn't have to do it, but you chose to click a button to make our community stronger, to look out for your fellow brothers and sisters and those that are younger than you, so that we can share the message of financial literacy. We have to get this message about financial literacy into the school systems and the organizations and the clubs. Feel free to reach out to me. You have my email address. If you need someone to come speak about financial literacy somewhere, let's work it out. Let's put it together. It happens so that we can grow our community together as one. So definitely welcome to Coach Steele's Finance Training. Welcome to the team. I think I covered everything I wanted to cover on today and a little bit more. And so anybody else, make sure that y'all connect and link with me so that we can grow the community. I do see some more comments in here, and definitely appreciate y'all for tuning in. Like I said, anybody who shared, what it's going to do is it's going to make us stronger. And when opportunities come along, when you have a team of people that are on the same page, what happens is now when you see an opportunity and you might not be able to take it, instead of someone else from the outside that you don't even know capitalizing, because you're a part of a team or a community, you can say, hey, my brother, hey, my sister, hey, my friend, whoever, business partner, hey, here's an opportunity over here. Here's an opportunity over here. Hey, go jump on that. Hey, this would be great for you. I don't want to do it, but hey, you can do it. See, I got people that I deal with and that I know, and we talk about real estate and all kind of other investment opportunities. And some stuff that is not for me is perfect for them. And so you're able to network and grow together by doing that, looking out for each other. Yes, sir, Mr. Patrick Underwood, I appreciate you. And I hear you, Sister Sterling, as well. I think that's what it said. And let's see, make sure I don't forget anything. Yes, excellent information. Once again, this is Coach Steele's Finance Training. I went a little bit over today, but I enjoyed going over that extra 20 minutes with all of you on today. You all have a great Saturday. And remember, Coach Steele's Finance Training, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time Zone. Every Saturday morning, I go live and we discuss things, and I put videos up throughout the week. So make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you need someone to talk about financial literacy to your organization, to your group of people, or to a school, hit me up, shoot me an email, and we'll work the rest of it out. Yes, Trinata, go back and rewatch the beginning. I'm going to quiz you on it. I'm just kidding. But anyway, y'all have a great Saturday. Be blessed.